Halo has become, over the years, one of the most iconic FPS games, which still stands the test of time, alongside the likes of Half-Life, and you know what, I'd rather not open that can of worms right now. Being one of my first video games ever, naturally the nostalgia of this iconic series has held it in high regard in mine and many others' viewpoints. Now if we're talking favorites, I would have to choose ODST or Halo 2, but there's one game in particular that holds these very iconic and unique elements that have helped this series stand the test of time as it ages. Halo Reach. Released in 2010, it is the last Halo game released by biological parent studio Bungie. The setting and tonal shift have made it a game that has become unforgettable for anyone who's played it. By some chance that you haven't managed to play this nearly 15-year-old game, please, for the love of God, pause this video and go play it. It's one of those games that is never the same after you've played it once or gotten spoiled. Let's dive in. Being the first mainline game chronologically, it holds a lot of the missing pieces and interesting world building for those who haven't read the books. Including me, because when I first played it, I was a child and couldn't hold focus on anything static for more than 2 yoctoseconds. Explaining what had to be done before we picked up the Master Chief's mantle in Combat Evolved, the game excellently displays the sacrifices that were made in order for the Master Chief to fulfill his duty and save humanity. Slowly, one by one, we lose our comrades. One by one, we slowly get isolated, and by the end of the game, one of the most iconic sacrifices in gaming history is made. When you, the player, are helping the Pillar of Autumn escape Reach's atmosphere, with nothing left to do, you go down fighting. A seemingly unkillable super soldier, Noble 6, finally goes down. I've seen a lot of discourse over the years comparing 6 and Chief, and with the iconic designation of hyper-lethal, I can see why this is such a well-spoken topic. However, there's one thing that separates the Chief and 6 in this sense, and what I think makes Reach so special is 6's sacrifice itself. 6 is Chief without his luck, and near the end of Halo Reach, we've lost our reason to fight as well. Sure, if put in the same situation, Chief probably would have thought it through more and somehow survived. But without a reason to keep fighting, our duty is over, and we can lay ourselves to rest, going out nobly in the field of battle. With this, I see a much more human aspect to Reach that we don't really see in other titles. The story of Reach is one of loss and one of sacrifice. If you're unaware, one of the main reasons why Reach the planet is so significant is it's the military center of humanity's operations. Second only to Earth, Reach holds a massive value to humans, and its loss marked a dramatic shift in what was already a decades-long conflict with the Covenant. It was many humans' homes. It was George's home. Losing Reach made the war feel hopeless, which is what a lot of the game feels like, a losing uphill battle. But this loss also instills the feeling of determination in humanity. So close to losing the war, this spark of hope from Cortana being delivered, all is not lost, and it is with this spark that a flame burns with the Master Chief's escapades up to Halo 3. Now, Halo has a very distinct and unique art style and atmosphere, and this game is no different. From the green hills and mountains we find ourselves driving through in the opening missions, to the snow-topped peaks and shining skyline of New Alexandria, with this setting being one of the most beautiful in the game, it hurts even more when we watch it slowly turn to ruin. The game really makes us feel for the slow loss of the planet. In what is probably one of the saddest missions of the game, we watch as the Covenant starts to glass parts of the planet. First we feel it, and then we see it with our own eyes. We've seen glassings before in the games, but never quite to this scale. Glassing is a barbaric procedure conducted via ritual by the Covenant, involving beaming scorching hot plasma at a planet's surface, killing all life and transforming the land into glass, hence the name. After a planet's been glassed, the atmosphere is uninhabitable. With no arable land, no organic plant life can grow. And with no plants, there can be no breathable atmosphere for humanity. This is the cruel fate Reach is doomed to after the game is finished. In building this scenic and beautiful landscape up around us, Bungie has created the perfect rug to pull from under our feet when they start to break down the world around us. Starting with Noble Team, we're introduced to Carter, our commander, Kat, our intelligence lead, June, our sniper and headhunter, Emil, our assault specialist, George, our heavy weapon specialist, and the team's only Spartan 2, hence his size, and us, Noble 6, former only headhunter and hyper-lethal Spartan. There's also the Spartan we replaced, Tom, who we see sacrifice himself during the game's trailer. Each of these characters have their own distinct traits and all served very integral roles in helping Halsey and Cortana escape Reach safely. In their respective situations and sacrifices, we also get to see their unique personalities flourish. George's sympathy and emotional maturity, Carter's leadership and ability to do what must be done to help the team, Emil's warrior nature and stubbornness to the end, and Kat. Unfortunately showing us that in this game there is no plot armor. Previously, we're led to believe that Spartans are these unkillable warriors, and yet, in some downtime, it can end just like that. Throughout the rest of the game, we also meet some familiar faces, like Captain Keyes, Halsey, Cortana, and even Chief gets a tiny little cameo, seen in his cryosleep pod on board the Pillar of Autumn. Back to my roots once again. Let's talk about one of my favorite aspects of the game, to wrap things up. Written by Martin O'Donnell and Micheal Salvatori, like the rest of the Bungie made games, it has that very iconic and unmistakable Halo sound, whilst also keeping a unique and fresh approach. A key part of a theme song for a series is what you would call a leitmotif. This is the main melody that you can hear that immediately makes you think of a certain character or series. This is a very important tool in score writing, as it can evoke emotions in the listener pairing perfectly with what is going on in the game. For example, say you're watching Star Wars, and Vader is about to come on screen. In using leitmotifs, as soon as you hear you don't even have to see him on screen to know what's about to happen. And that is the power of leitmotifs. Halo is no different. Some of the more notable ones consist of our main theme, although it is a tiny bit too long to be properly considered one. And of course the iconic I used in this video's intro. Reach has its own as well. This feeling we get from hearing its main theme, it invokes various emotions. If you hear it at different points in the game, and trust me, you will, it almost invokes this feeling of helplessness, but also this unwavering resolve depending on when you hear it. Now, as well as this theme, there is also, once again, a plethora of this franchise's most iconic motifs that make little cameos symbolizing different moments of triumph or hope. Once again, our favorite keeps making a return. Fitting in with the franchise's use of instrumentation, it holds its own unique qualities whilst also clearly being Halo. Choral vocals, strings and percussion, and one thing in particular that stands out to me that sets it apart from other military-based FPS games at the time is its use of brass. Now in general, it's pretty safe to say that brass has this very deep-tied relationship to the military due to the media that we consumed and its connection to marching bands. Now let's say a military FPS, like Battlefield, wouldn't hesitate to include brass in its main theme, which is where Halo differs, sticking with its Bungie-era association of not being like other first-person shooters at the time. Reach is no different. But Halo, and what I've mainly noticed from Reach specifically, hasn't shied completely away from using brass. Now the main theme of the game screams warrior. The use of strings, the use of vocals, the use of percussion. It is a perfect representation of the Spartans themselves. I mean, they are literally called Spartans. But I digress. Something that hits different about Reach compared to Master Chief's games is it definitely feels a lot more militaristic than any other Bungie Halo game except maybe ODST. Unlike Chief and his solo missions infiltrating Halo or High Charity, we're following orders in a strike team. Now this is probably why I noticed it, but it makes the use of brass much more significant. We spend the entire game in orbit or on the surface of humanity's main military center, which can clearly be heard in the little sprinklings of brass we get throughout the game. Now, we're still warriors, but as Spartan 3s, sorry George, we serve a much closer militaristic theme when compared to the Master Chief's escapades throughout this trilogy. Now there is so much more I can talk about this game's OST, but for the sake of this game's production time and runtime, I want to keep it short. So, if you want me to do a full dive on the soundtrack, please do let me know. Halo Reach is truly a unique entry to the series, and what I think is Bungie's perfect send-off. Now, I was a bit too young when the game released to have experienced what it was like at the time and its initial reception. Yes, I know there were some faults, and as someone who is just recently getting into the books, I do understand some of the gripes that came with the campaign. However, setting that aside, Bungie created something truly unique in their final opus to Halo, and it will forever hold a special place in my heart as one of my favorite games. As cool it is being the unstoppable demon who takes down Covenant armies with ease, it's nice seeing what was lost to make the final narrative arcs of the game occur from a first-person perspective. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a comment or two, and if you didn't, do the same. I have been a fish. I hope you've enjoyed this video. And once again, I am returning to cryostasis. Good night.